Hello everyone, it's Joe here from Draft FPL, and today we are looking at the best free agents and waiver pickups in Draft FPL for Game Week 5. The international break is over, thank the Lord. We are back with Premier League football. As always, if you enjoy the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you want more information and data and analysis from me, then hit the Patreon link down below. Let's get stuck into the picks. First up, we've got Tim Ream of Fulham, available in 77% of Draft FPL leagues, and as always, that data is powered by draftfc.co.uk, link down in the description if you're interested in that. Looking at the fixtures for Fulham, they really do get much better over the next few. They've had some tough ones to start, that coupled with the fact that there's been the whole Paulinho saga, whether he's going to go to Bayern Munich, whether he's going to stay. Well, he is now going to stay. He was left out in Game Week 4 to kind of get his head around it. Hopefully he'll be back in the starting lineup for Game Week 5 because he is probably the most pivotal player to any team in the Premier League, because Fulham's data with versus without him is massively different. They're currently the worst ranked defence in the league, Fulham, but I think that is mainly due to his absence. When he's back in the team, they are a much better unit. Luton at home in Game Week 5 is just a dream fixture from a defensive point of view. So I think that getting a Fulham defender in makes a lot of sense. Tim Ream is the obvious candidate. He is the absolutely nailed on to play. Diop is another option as well, although he has had a little bit more competition over the past season or two. There is just a little bit more of a question mark over the fullbacks with Castagna signing. I think Robinson is, pretty much nailed on, but Tete, Castagna, there is competition there, so I'm personally not going to risk it and go with the sensible option, Tim Ream. Over the next four, the fixtures are a little bit mixed. Luton at home's great. Palace away is not too bad. Probably a first bench option. You wouldn't mind if he comes on for that. Chelsea at home is not ideal. And then in 8, they've got Sheffield United at home, which is a fantastic fixture. So if you can get someone to cover you for the 6 and 7, then Game Week 5 and Game Week 8 look fantastic. Next up, we've got Joe Worrall of Forest, available in 100% of leagues. To be honest, my favourite pick from the Forest events is actually Aurier, but he's up to about 60% ownership now, so I felt like it was cheating a little bit to tip him, as he won't be available in a lot of competitive leagues. So Joe Worrall seems the next most nailed of the defence. They have signed a load of defenders. There's competition for Aina at left back with Tavares. Looking at the centre backs, there's a lot to choose from, and I think as the club captain, Worrall just makes the most sense. If you're looking elsewhere other than Aurier. Burnley at home in Game Week 5, it's 100% aimed at targeting this fixture. Burnley, we haven't really seen the attacking side that we'd hoped for coming out from the Championship so far. They are definitely maintaining a high possession of the ball, but they're not really turning that into chances, and they've been pretty poor, very poor defensively as well. I'm sure in the coming months we'll see Burnley evolve into a slightly more efficient outfit, but at the moment they are struggling at both ends of the pitch. So I do fancy this game for Forest, especially at home. Forest have a great record at the City ground. The following 3 fixtures after that, City away, Brentford at home, Palace away, aren't ideal. So outside of Aurier, I would probably not keep hold of any other Forest defenders. But for this game, for a 1-week punt, clean sheets look like they're going to be pretty thin on the ground this week, so I don't think it's a bad shout. Next up, we've got Alex Moreno of Villa, available in 60% of draft leagues. He is back fit. We got confirmation from Emery that he's back with the squad and available for selection. So I think Dean's days are certainly numbered. Even, he may not even play in Game Week 5. It's not someone that I'm looking to keep hold of now, Luca Dean, because I do think Moreno is the better player and will come back in when Emery feels like he's ready, which could be this week in Game Week 5, could be in the next couple of weeks, not too sure. Even if Dean gets to start in Game Week 5, I don't really want him for 6 or 7 anyway, and I think by Game Week 8 I would be pretty confident that Moreno's back in the side by then for sure. So I think it's definitely someone you should be looking at picking up, especially if you can bench him for 6 and 7. Hope he gets to start in Game Week 5. If he doesn't, then bench in 6 and 7, and then you've got a great pick lined up for Game Week 8. On to midfielders, and the most obvious choice, Ansu Fati, signed for Brighton, Available in 100% of draft leagues at the moment. Obviously, he's only just in the game. The fixtures are pretty rough for Brighton. Game week 6, Bournemouth at home looks really good. But outside of that, United away, Villa away, Liverpool at home. Not ideal, but to be honest, from an attacking point of view, I actually don't mind them. United's defence has been a bit of a shambles. Villa play a ridiculously high line, especially at home, and I think Brighton could absolutely score a couple of goals in that one. And then Liverpool have had defensive issues as well, and especially that one being at home, I fancy Brighton to get something out of that. So, as I said, the fixtures look bad on paper, but when you break them down, they're actually not too bad at all from an attacking point of view, at least. I'm interested to see where Fatty plays in this system. I'm not really sure how he's going to fit in, whether he's going to be a regular starter. We'll have to wait and see on that, to be honest, because as much analysis as you can do, De Zerbi has his own way of viewing things, and he's very, very difficult to predict until you've seen a couple of team sheets from him. So we'll have to wait and see that, but I definitely think he's worth the punt. He's got massive upside, especially in this attacking Brighton team. Next up, we've got Harry Wilson, one of my old favourite picks, available in 95% of draft leagues. He's not done it for us so far this season, but I will certainly be picking him up for game week 5. I think he's a fantastic pick over this next 4 game weeks for Fulham. Hopefully we can start to see them convert some of their chances into FPL points, and Wilson I think is the best attacking option from this team. Luton at home is the fixture that could see their attacking displays kick off, really, because we've not seen so much from them so far. Sheffield United at home in game week 8 looks a plum fixture as well. Palace away is really tough, and I'd probably bench him for that one. But Chelsea at home in game week 7 I don't think it's too bad either. So yeah, I fancy Harry Wilson to do well over this period, and it's definitely someone I'm looking to bring in and hold for a little run of good fixtures from Fulham. Next up, if you are looking for a 1 week punt and Harry Wilson isn't available, Elanga seems like the next best option for me. Just a quick caveat, he does have a knock from international duty. He withdrew from the Sweden squad halfway through the international break and went back to Forest due to a knock. Now, I haven't heard anything from Steve Cooper on it yet, but Steve Cooper is a renowned liar about injuries, so I don't really trust what he says anyway. He often rules players out and then they play anyway. So yeah, I don't really know how much we can take from that. I want to get a bit of news from the Sweden squad, really, to see if we can get any kind of truth on what actually is going on there. But I think he's up. The feeling I'm getting is that he's going to be fit for game week 5, and Cooper's going to be desperate for him to play in that, because that Burnley high line attacking football is just made perfectly for Elanga to be hitting them on the break with his unbelievable pace. So that fixture looks fantastic for Elanga. Available in 95% of leagues. I think if he starts this week, he's a fantastic pick. Next up is Gunacho. Not someone I'm overly excited about, to be honest, but that might just be my inherent bias as an Arsenal fan. Available in 77% of leagues. I think he's going to get a run in the team because Anthony is obviously not in the squad anymore after his allegations have come out. Sancho, I cannot possibly see starting anytime soon after his kind of social media swipe at Erik ten Hag, so I don't see either of them playing. That kind of leaves Gunacho or Pellistri to play in kind of the hole left by Anthony, and I think it's surely going to be Gunacho. I mean, he started game week 1, didn't have a great game. He's not been brilliant. He did score that goal that was marginally offside against Arsenal, and he is a good finisher, so if he does get decent time on the pitch, I wouldn't be surprised to see him getting a couple of attacking returns, and it feels like too good of an opportunity to miss out on, to not go for him when I can't think of how they'd line up without him in the side. The fixtures from an attacking point of view are actually still pretty good. Brighton at home is a great fixture from an attacking point of view. Brighton's defence is no great shakes. Burnley away is brilliant. Palace at home is pretty good, although Palace are kind of a good unit. Brentford at home is kind of similar to that as well, but you know, I think it's a decent run for United, and if Garnacho's playing 60-70 minutes a game, you'd expect a couple of returns in that. On to forwards, and we've got Beto of Everton, new player to the league, available in 100% of leagues. And I think if you're struggling with your front line, if you've got kind of a no name in third slot, he's a really good pickup. Everton have had really good fixtures, but they've been creating loads of chances. They're like third, I think, behind Brighton and Spurs in the attacking data so far this season, which is mad. I mean, as I said, they've had brilliant fixtures, but they still have brilliant fixtures to come, especially game week 7 and 8, Luton at home, Bournemouth at home. There's not any better back-to-back game weeks than that for a team. So I think Beto is a great option, and you can happily bench him this week against Arsenal, see how he looks, and then play him 6, 7, 8. I think in terms of waiver options for forwards, he's a bit of a gift. So if you're near the bottom of your league and you're going to get waiver priority, I think he's just an easy pickup. Finally then, I know I've said loads about Amduni already this season, and he didn't have a great game in game week 4, but I do think if you do think there's going to be goals in that Forest-Burnley game, which I think there could well be, to be honest, because Forest aren't the best defence. They're not bad, but they're not the best. Available in 73% of leagues still. I would prefer Foster just because he's got the form and he's got the confidence, but he is quite a bit higher owned. I think he's only available in about 35-40% of leagues. So Amduni is more widely available, and I think if you have a forward that you're not that confident in, it kind of makes sense to punt on him because he looks like he's going to be first choice. I can't see him not being in the starting lineup. So you can play him this week, game week 5. Hope he gets something at Forest. Bench him for United in game week 6, and then they've got a double game week: Newcastle away, Luton away. So it actually makes a lot of sense to pick him up now, play him this week, bench him in 6, and then play him in game week 7 for the double game week. So I do think he is quite a good pickup, despite the fact he's been disappointing so far. He is quite an exciting player, and there could be good things to come for him. As I said earlier, though, I do prefer Foster, so if he's available, I would go for him over Amduni. And that wraps up my picks for game week 5. Thank you all for watching. As I said, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. If you want more data, more stats, I referenced the kind of team data attack and team data defense sort of rankings earlier. That's all available via Patreon in my game week cheat sheets that I send out before the waiver deadline of every single week. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time.